Whenever I was young, I would always think very little about my surroundings, completely oblivious to the world around me. I was about 4 years old when we moved. It was an odd-looking town that we relocated to. The houses twisted around curved roads, laid atop various hills. Ours nestled on top. The paint was chipped, and the house practically looked ancient. I vaguely remember the days passing, what I had bared witness to, what I had seen. I felt a presence constantly with me. I saw shadows wisp past me, and I even heard voices. At that young age, you carry a belief in you that nothing means you harm, an innocence, if you will. I even developed the belief that he was my friend. I talked to him even, carrying out complete conversations. I would sit for hours in the darkness of my room and talk to my friend. Of course, my parents. I told them. I told them about my friend. They just wrote it off as me and my imagination. Maybe it was for the best. I just recently started remembering some of our conversations. The more I think of it, the more it truly disturbs me. The other day, I remembered that I always used to draw. Well, I still do, but I wanted to see what I was drawing. I remember that my mother stowed away all of my old drawings. She never let me keep them myself, afraid my own creations would give me nightmares. What the hell was I drawing? I searched that day in her room for a bit to no avail. Oh well, just recently some of those occurrences started happening again. Whispers, shadows. Why? I thought it was just something I grew out of. Obviously, I'm older now, 16 to be precise. Now that these memories are coming back to me, it's been keeping me up all night. I try to sleep, but these thoughts are engraved in my mind. I lie awake, paranoia setting in, waiting for the sun. It's been happening again, the voices, whispers, long silence, now beckoning for me to play his game. I'm scared, trying to get my mind off what I'm hearing. I finally give in to exhaustion and fade to black. I open bloodshot eyes aimed up at the ceiling. I get up and look at the clock. 6:25 a.m. I grab my backpack, put on some clothes carelessly, eat, and I'm out the door. Sitting on the bus, I can't get everything off my mind. Sitting with headphones blaring, watching the world move around me. Snow-covered pine trees surrounding a worn dirt road, treetops whistling against the cold wind, blowing up particles of snow. The sun still yet to come up completely. A shroud of darkness over the woods, the everything. We arrive finally. I walk to the doors of the school silently, emotionless, too tired to think of anything other than the lyrics of the music channeling through me from my headphones. I hear a voice permeate through the sounds. I barely make it up. Hey, Desmond. I pull my headphones from my ears. Hey, Dexter, I said. Don't call me that, you prick, he barked at me. I was just kidding, I told him in a half-efforted voice. You know how much I hate my name. Fine, Dext. Fine, Dex. I normally like pissing you off, but I'm too tired to give it any effort. His gray, soulless eyes looking at me both sarcastically and with a half smirk. He passed me as I walked to my locker. I got my things and made it to class. At lunch, I sat with Dex, Sydney, another of my friends, and Blink. To be completely honest, I didn't have a lot of real friends. Just those three. It never really bothered me that much. I was content just having them. Out of the three of them, Dexter was the closest to me. We would hang out at a constant. He was the only one that actually believes me about what has been happening, or at least what I've been willing to share. The others, well, Blink would just snicker and scoff. Sydney, well, she didn't seem to care much. Sydney was an interesting girl. She really only talked to us. For some odd reason, she was so shy around other people. She really had no reason to be. I thought her quite attractive, interesting, and well, to say the least. I thought very highly of her. We dated a year ago. We don't really talk about it much, and I forget a lot of the details about it, but I kind of miss it from time to time. Blink, well, to start off, his name really isn't Blink. Just a nickname he got from sleeping in class one too many times. I guess you could say he's a bit of a pyromaniac, and you'd be making a hell of an understatement. He has an absolutely colossal collection of fireworks, from firecrackers to Roman candles to God knows what else. I even remember how he got a 3-week suspension and $200 fine for what he did last year. He shoved an M80 in Principal Henry's bathroom toilet. By what he said, he told me it was absolutely beautiful. porcelain flying left and right. Personally, I think he's a bit screwed up in the head. We sat down, starting to eat. Small conversations were brought up. So, are you going to the semi-formal? I hate Mrs. Donnelly. Yeah, she's a bitch. Then things got quiet for a little bit. Blink looked at me and said, "So how's your ghost problem?" He laughed obnoxiously, nudging Sydney. She looked at him with a smirk and couldn't make eye contact with me for a while. Dexter, well, he was completely indifferent. So was I. "What's the deal with you?" Dexter asked, blinking insultingly. "What, just because Desmond is crazy I gotta take heat from you for saying something about it?" "What the hell? I'm not crazy," I objected. "It's completely illogical to believe in something like that," Blink said arguably. "Whatever. So, semi-formal?" At the end of the day, the three of us were walking to my house. Sydney had to go home. Blink turned to me and Dex. "Let's go this way. I know this awesome magic shop down there. I've never been down to this part of town before," I told them both. "It's really old. A magic shop?" I questioned, curiously. "Just, come on, it's right up here." The whole part of town seemed to be like a whole different world. It seemed so ancient, so isolated. "I get these awesome firecrackers from the place. They're fucking color," Blink had said excitedly. As we walked through the town, I began to notice the absolute silence of it, practically ancient as it was. The buildings surrounded us, built of cracked brick. Vines crawled up the expanse of the buildings, old shops, a theater, a barber shop, boarded up and deteriorated, condemned, like this town. We finally approached the magic shop. The sign outside, so worn you couldn't even read it. The words "end of the line" painted over what used to be the sign. We walked inside. Such a strange atmosphere had just engulfed me in its room. So very many antiquities set atop wooden shelves. No two the same, human and animal skulls alike. Words carved on them, glass balls, jewelry, staffs, so many things. We spent an estimate of 45 minutes looking around before we even got near the woman at the counter. I didn't even realize she had been staring at me the entire time. This didn't seem to faze me as much as it should have. I approached her, one blind eye, one half blue, half brown, split down the middle. She was an elderly woman, as expected in an old place like this. Guess she didn't want to let go of her shop. Her hair didn't seem to be a concern of hers either. Why try when decay has caught up with you? I approached her, holding a model of a ship. "What year was this?" "Leave," she interrupted, beginning to whisper some language in a swift mutter. "Excuse me, you are him. You will lead him to me, to this place. Get out." Her voice changed from a typical elderly-sounding voice to a deep, throaty, and threatening voice. I froze. Her friend stepped back. She rose and grabbed me by the shirt collar, pulling me closer. She whispered into my ear, "Death is coming for you. Don't lead it to me." She let it go, and I jerked back, turning around and pushed my friends out of the way, and I began running, directionless and fearful. As I ran, my legs grew weak. I have no idea where I was going. My vision started to blur. My legs grew weaker and weaker. I was in the forest. It had been night for a while. I blacked out, dropped to the ground, and my eyes opened one last time. I heard footsteps on the gravel before I finally went blank. In a short point in the state, her words played back over in my head, as if she was not the one repeating them. The darkness then soon turned into light. I was looking up towards the sky, lying on the train tracks, the gray sky covered with black clouds, the words, whispered, painful, engraved in my mind like the spider crawling across my skull. Words could not describe the feeling of terror I felt.